Dzień dobry. I watched my first video and sometimes I think you have to listen to the way you speak. I was saying, constantly. I apologize. I will work on that. And perhaps I need to in real life as well. I do a lot of presentations, so I'm beginning to think I may annoy people a little bit, at least understand why I do. So this is my second video. I thought I would just address a certain topic which is certainly very important with Brits right now, and people in Europe, and to be honest, will impact the whole world, and that is Brexit. Yeah, this is a really hard subject. You tended to have some very different opinions when I was in the UK. You know, sometimes when perhaps life isn't going your way and you decide, rather than focusing on your own problems, you're going to start focusing on the kind of shit that you have no effect over whatsoever. But you're like, I'm going to learn about this. I'm going to become informed. I'm going to start making opinions on Facebook. I'm going to do all of this wonderful stuff. Do you know what Brexit did to the UK? It divided the people. It cost me friends. I'm pretty sure of that. It caused a lot of families to fall out, a lot of friends to fall out, a lot of demonstrations on the street, a lot of upset. And this is the point of the video where I make a slight confession. So I'm pretty sure that you're assuming that living abroad, that I voted to remain. Actually, I didn't. And this surprises pretty much everyone I meet here. In Poland, they don't understand Brexit at all. And I don't blame them. You know, the EU for Poland, on the whole, is a very, very good thing. They are pumping a lot of money into the country. It gives the the Polish economy a massive boost because of free movement. You know, people are working here, trade is easier. You know, there is a definite benefit of the EU for Poland on many levels. And you know, occasionally you see the odd article back home like, oh, you know, is it going to be Polskit or whatever? You know, but they try to claim a different country is going to leave the EU every month. From when I was checking out the papers, I follow the UK news a little less now after 2 years. So it looks like Brexit's actually going to happen. I know it's been delayed constantly. Partly by, well, mainly by the UK government, who, well, let's be honest, they couldn't make up their mind as a body what Brexit even was, let alone how they deal with it or how it works. And to be honest, I don't think they know yet. So we just had the second general election during the Brexit phase, and so the people sent a pretty clear message that they want Brexit to happen based on the result. You know, if you voted Conservative, you wanted Brexit to happen. If you voted Labour or Lib Dem, you basically didn't want Brexit to happen. And, you know, that was pretty much what the election was about on the whole. Obviously, there were more things involved. But I don't want to go too much into British politics, because already by saying that I voted for Brexit, I'm going to get haters. Yeah, I had this from friends. So the internet, I'm sure, will spew out a lot of hatred to the fact that I voted for something like that. Do I stand by my vote? I don't know. I don't know what Brexit means. I think when there was the initial vote, you had very charismatic people like Nigel Farage sort of saying it means this, this, and this. And he presented a very, very intelligent argument. And this is what swayed me. You know, I got into reading The Telegraph, and the articles were like, oh, the EU's doing this, the EU's doing that. Oh my God, really? How can they get away with that? You know, like, this is the problem with media. You don't know anything, and then you start reading these articles and you're like, whoa. It kind of opens your eyes, but does it tell you the truth? Who's to say? I still don't know. Will Brexit be a positive thing for the UK? Maybe. Maybe not. We shall see. I like to hope it can be. I mean, I'm going to become a little bit selfish at this point, and the main thing is I don't want it to impact my life here. I'm very happy in Poland, and the thought that, you know, it's going to be harder for me to stay in this country is a little bit scary, I'll be honest. But we shall see. You know, will it be harder for me to fly home for Christmas and things? Will I have to do more stuff with the government? Nobody knows. The only thing I know for sure is if I want to drive after Brexit, I have to have a Polish driving license. I've already got residency papers and stuff like that, which wasn't fun. Polish bureaucracy is very, very strict, but that's not the topic of this video. So will Brexit be a good thing? I don't know. One of the thoughts I had in mind during the voting process, which will probably make people a bit worried about the people who voted for Brexit, was I kept thinking of 1984. It's one of my favorite books. Absolutely visionary. I mean, wow. That book predicted so much about a society which is evolving. The whole Big Brother thing is coming along, right? And in that story, you know, the UK and the US were an alliance, and then you had, was it Europa or Eurasia or whatever was another alliance. And I think there was maybe a third alliance. I lose track. I haven't read it in a few years. And then it just gave me this thought, well, if this book could be so right about all these other things that are coming to pass, you know, it was only a few years ago that Samsung was told off for having cameras or microphones in their TVs or something. We're being tracked by Google, Apple, Microsoft, whatever. All these companies are following us. We've got these problems with Hawaii, I guess. Security concerns with China and the government and things. People, it's harder to be private. No, I mean, I'll be honest, I've never been too private a person. You know, I like to be pretty open. And if I have an opinion on something, yeah, maybe I'll be a bit careful in the way I deliver it, but I'm not afraid to talk about it. But we'll see on Brexit. We have a government now that at least seems committed to it. They're saying the official date is the end of January, but there's a transition period to the end of the year. I guess that's the time it takes, in theory, to work out how we're going to have trade deals with the EU, how all of our kind of international laws are going to work. And yeah, I'm trying not to focus on it too much. Reading the British press has actually become depressing. You know, I look back on the UK from Poland, and you know, what do you see? You see the headlines, right? And it's like, oh, the stabbing in London. Yeah, we have a lot of stabbings in London, and it seems to get worse every year. This politician did this. This royal family member did this, supposedly. You know, we just had Harry and Meghan break off. I don't even know what to say on that one. Good luck to them. You know, I don't think they're gonna struggle, to be honest. When you're that famous, you just have to create a TV show or write a book or something. It'll just like they're never gonna struggle. Let's be honest. They're too famous. You know, I think it gets to a point where you become so famous that it's, you know, you only really kind of start to struggle when you lose your way. You know, some turn to drugs or alcohol, some, you know, do some ridiculous things. There was a certain band who used to record in my friend's studio in Cardiff, and one of their members was involved with insanely young children or something. I'm not saying names or anything because A, I don't really know all the details, but B, you know, I don't know if that ever got proven, so I don't want to go unliable. But, you know, we'll see what happens with Brexit here. I hope it's going to be okay. I have another British colleague working in HR, and he's a little bit concerned, but he's not stressing about it. Time will tell. I mean, I like to think that, you know, in the long run, it could be good for the UK. It gives them more freedom over law, over trade deals outside of the EU. Maybe it will improve relations with America. And from my perspective, as much as, you know, you have people in the UK who really, really love Europe and they really feel close to Europe. What's on our TVs? Do we watch French TV? Do we watch German TV? Not so much. You know, there's a bit on Netflix. But, you know, you watch any of the British stations, and aside from the obvious British content, it's mostly American, right? I mean, I grew up with Star Trek, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Simpsons. You know, a lot of American-made TV series. So there's always part of my soul which feels a bit American because I was just exposed to their television constantly growing up. I mean, yeah, okay, we had Neighbours and Home and Away from Australia. I can't really think of any Canadian shows except for Due South. Was that Canadian? I know it had a Canadian star. But yeah, the UK, a lot of its values come from America as well. If you think about a lot of the kind of the human rights laws that are coming into effect, the, you know, legality of, you know, gay marriage, for example, the extra recognition of kind of the LGBT community, you know, a lot of that, I think, really started in the US, right? You know, the US kind of creates a wave. They create these ideas and they spread. You know, like they pretty much legalize marijuana now. They're talking about doing that in the UK. They're starting to legalize it for certain medical treatments. We just tend to follow them. You know, the US goes to war. Who goes to war with them? Yeah, I'm not going to make a judgment on that. You know, war is not a good thing. Generally, I think you should only be in a war if you're defending yourself, personally. The world would be a better place, but inevitably, you know, as our populations grow, our supplies run out, we're going to struggle over oil, we're going to struggle over food, we're going to struggle over power. And what's going to happen? Some countries are going to try and, you know, take what they can. I mean, look at, I mean, I'm a big fan of kind of post-apocalyptic, you know, games and stories and films. And you look at these people, you know, they are in a world with very little supply, and what happens? The people tend to turn on each other. They don't necessarily work together, or if they do, they form tribes. and they fight over the limited resources they have. You don't see a post-apocalyptic program or film or game where everyone gets along. As soon as you remove law and enforcement of that law, people kind of take their life into their own hands, and they feel like they have so much freedom, they can do what they want. But it's funny how I've gone from Brexit to post-apocalypse. I hope maybe that's a subconscious connection. We shall see. But these have been, my views on Brexit. Perhaps not very informed views. Perhaps there's some work to do on my thinking. But hey, feel free to comment. Please don't hate too much. Sorry, I'm kind of reformed. I still believe in the UK, but living here, I have more respect for Europe than I did before. Thank you for watching. See you again.